Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the News Today edition of 28th January. My name is Anuj and I will be taking today's session. In today's session, we will be covering 5 main news and 8 quick update and 1 place in news. In first main news, we will be covering about India and European Union trade deal. Then in the second main news, we will be covering about data privacy as the International Data Privacy Day has been celebrated. Then in the third main news, we will be covering about the new guidelines which has been provided by University Grant Commission. Then we will be covering about the social media ban as the France National Assembly has backed legislation to ban children under 15-year-old from social media. Then we will be covering about the renewable energy transition of India as at WEF, India has highlighted its emergence as a global leader in renewable energy transition. Then we will be briefly covering about the quick update, and in between we will be covering 1 place in news, that is Sea of Japan. So this is a brief about today's session. So let us begin today's session and discuss every news in detail. So the first news is about the mother of trade deal. You might be aware it is everywhere. India and European Union has concluded a landmark free trade agreement. In this news, we will be covering about what are the benefit India will be getting from this trade the trade agreement, and it is related to paper 2 where syllabus talks about bilateral, regional and global grouping and agreement which are involving India. So let us discuss this news in detail. First of all, the development. We have already discussed the context. It is the largest such deal ever concluded by either side. The discussion for this FTA was started long back in year 2007, and there were hiccup, there was issues, but we have concluded it, and this is a very significant as it is mentioned that the world second and the 4th largest economy have concluded the FTA. But please don't get confused when we talk about countries. China is the 2nd largest economy. But here we are talking about EU as a group. EU has 27 members. Okay, and when we talk about the economy, the largest economy is USA, then China, then Germany, and then India. Okay, recently, India has surpassed the Japan. Why this FTA is significant? Okay, that might be the question in your mind. Because India sent its goods export largest to the EU. Okay, our largest export of goods is to the EU. But when we combine the goods and services, our largest export is to USA. Please be very clear. Such types of facts are important for your prelims examination. When we talk only about the goods, the largest exporter or the largest export is for the European Union region. But when we combine it with the services, it is with the USA. And we are at the trade surplus with the EU. Our last year trade was about 136 billion US dollar, and in this we were at the trade surplus. Previously we were having issues regarding the services because as a group EU was not able to include the services from the India as much as we wanted. So this FTA will give us various benefits. Now let us discuss what are the benefits and what are there under this FTA. So let us discuss about India and EU FTA. First of all, about the strategic market access. Okay, both the group, India as well as EU, will get benefit from it, as India is the one of the fastest growing economy, and EU provide for a rich market for Indian export. So here India will get preferential access in about 97%, and which account for 99.5% of the trade value. But we have not given that much of access to the EU, we have given around 96%. And why? Because we want to protect our strategic interest. And what are those strategic interests? Those are sensitive sector which include dairy, include cereals, poultry, soy meals, certain fruits and vegetables through phased liberalization. Please be very clear that this FTA will not come into effect overnight. European Union Parliament has to ratify it. Parliament has to ratify it, and that will take around 5 to 6 months. So this will not come into effect overnight. There will be a time of 5 to 6 months, and there will be phased liberalization. Let us understand by an example what is the meaning of phased liberalization. Suppose we are talking about a car that is made in Europe, for example, Mercedes. So presently, if a car is manufactured in Germany or in European Union countries and that is exported to India, we apply a tax of 110%. So we are saying that we will reduce the tariff on such products in phased manner. That will be reducing to 70%, then again to 10% in phased manner. Okay, that also applies to wines, that also applies to the desserts, pastas. The pasta of European Union, especially the Italy, is very famous, and the desserts are also very famous of European Union. Then there are product specific rules. So there will be self certification through a statement on origin. What it means? That means that no other country should take benefit from FTA, and there will be the self-certification that this product is manufactured in the country specific. Then there are special flexibilities, quotas, and transition period for MSMEs. You might be aware how much essential the growth of MSMEs is there for India, and we have talked about the implementation of these FTA for MSMEs in a phased manner. Now let us move further and understand about the other things in this FTA. So it also talk about tackling non-tariff barriers. What are the non-tariff barrier? First of all, there are tariff barrier that we can impose so much of taxes on something. That is a tariff barrier. Then there are non-tariff barrier as well, which include sanitary and phytosanitary procedure. It includes that there should be a certain amount of specialization and there should be a certain amount of labeling, and that hinders the transportation or the trade. Then there is also technical barrier to the trade discipline. It include regulatory barriers. Then it also talks about service trade. As we were discussing in the context, we were not able to export services as we wanted to. But now it will provide a stable market access in EU's 144 services subsectors, and it include IT, education, R&D, and the professional services. So our export will increase exponentially, especially in the services sector. Then ease of mobility. Whenever India is signing FTA, India is very specific about the ease of mobility. We want to send our skilled workers so that they can work there and send remittances, and that is the demand of the globe as well, because there are some countries which are going through demographic winter, and we as a country is going through demographic transition, and we have lot of working age population, so we can fill that gap. Okay, you might be knowing about demographic winter. There was a direct question about demographic winter. Countries such as Italy, Germany is going through a phase of demographic winter. That is it means that the population is dying down. That means it is declining. Now let us understand and discuss the other aspect of this trade deal. So first of all, it talk about towards 2030. It is a joint comprehensive strategic agenda which cover various fields such as sustainability, technology and innovation, security and defense. It is a very important aspect that it also cover security and defense. Then there is talk about security, as we have discussed that there is the coverage of security and defense. We will include security and defense partnership and launch of negotiation for India EU security of information agreement. Under this agreement there will be transfer of classified information. We have with USA where we send or where we receive the classified information. So such type of agreement we will be having with EU. There have been starting of the talks. Then in emerging and the critical technology, there is a creation of EU and India Innovation Hub and launch of India and EU startup partnership that will support the startups. Then there is constituent of Green Hydrogen Task Force in the framework of the EU-India Clean Energy and Climate Partnership. So there is a EU-India Clean Energy Climate Partnership under which green hydrogen has been included, specifically Green Hydrogen Task Force. Then last, it also talks about science and technology, where there is Renewable of India and EU agreement of scientific and technological cooperation for the period of 2025 and 2030. And there are also starting of talk of Horizon EU. Under this, there is scientific innovation in the European Union. So this was all about this news. Let us discuss PYQ, which are directly and indirectly related to this news. First of all, the directly related PYQ. So as we have discussed that this trade deal was started in the year 2007. So in the year 2017, there was a direct question, and the question was that the broad-based trade and investment agreement is sometimes seen in the news in the context of negotiation held between India and select an option to attempt. The answer is A, European Union. Okay, that was the name of the agreement. Then there can be such type of question because in the recent past, India has signed FTA with the many countries. For example, we have signed FTA with New Zealand. If you are reading newspaper, you might be knowing about this. We have signed with Oman. We have signed with EFTA countries. Okay. And we are negotiating a trade deal with the US as well. Okay, so this such type of question can come. So there was a 2018 question. The question was about the consider the following countries and which of the above are the among the free trade partner of the ASEAN as a group. So what I am saying is that India has also signed many free trade agreements this year. So there can be a question like this. But for this question, the answer would be that ASEAN has signed with Australia. It has signed with China, it has signed with India, it has signed with Japan, but it has not signed with USA and Canada. So answer will be 1, 3, 4 and 5. So it will be C. 1, 3, 4 and 5. With this, we have completed the first news. Now let us move to the second news for today. The second news for today is related to the data privacy. Okay, as you might be hearing that data is the new oil, and there has been celebration for International Data Privacy Day on 28th January, that is today. So we will be discussing about data privacy and the rules which are there in India to protect the data of an individual, and it is related to paper 2 where syllabus talks about important aspect of governance, transparency and accountability. Now let us discuss this news. So the background for this news is that the International Data Privacy Day is observed annually on 28th of January, that is today, to commemorate the signing of Convention 108. There can be a prelims question which can be directly asking about what is Convention 108, or there was a term in the news, Convention 108. What is it related to? So what is Convention 108? Convention 108 was adopted by Council of Europe in the year 1981. And why this is significant? It is significant because it was the world first legally binding international treaty on the data protection, and it aimed for generating awareness about misuse of data, how the data can be misused. In this news, we will be learning about intermediaries, data principal, and data fiduciaries, because these terms are very important to understand this news. Okay, before moving further, let us understand about data principles. Data principals are the humans whose data we are talking about. Okay, so suppose I am a human and I am providing my data for some company. Then in that case I am a data principal, and the company which is handling that data, that will be considered as data fiduciaries. Then intermediaries are the companies which handle data for the other companies. So these terms are important to understand this news, and these terms are given in the DPDP Act of 2023. Now let us discuss this news in detail. Okay. First of all, let us discuss about the India's data privacy imperative. India is the world's third largest digitalized economy, and the first two countries are USA and China. Whenever you see the rankings, please be very careful about the first ranking and the second ranking, because there are questions in the prelims examination where they are asking about the chronological order or the ascending or the descending order. Then India has expanded its digital footprints. Okay, we have expanded the Aadhaar Crore for the 143 crore people. We have expanded the DigiLocker sign up for the 14 crore people. Then UPI transaction has increased to 28 lakh crore, which is a very high number. Then there has been increase in the broadband subscriber, which have increased to 101 crore. Okay, before moving further, now let us understand about digital platform infrastructure. Digital public infrastructure. Okay, whenever you think about infrastructure, you might be thinking about roads, bridges, and other thing. But when the infrastructure which we cannot touch, and that is for the enhancement of the digitalization, that is digital public infrastructure. It includes services like UPI, Aadhaar, and other platforms. Okay, it also includes the DigiLocker sign up. So that is digital public infrastructure. Even we are praised at the world stage for our digital public infrastructure. And what are the benefit of digital public infrastructure? It enhances the social mobility. It enhances the financial inclusion. It enhances the transparency in the governance. So that are some benefit of the digital public infrastructure. Now let us discuss about the budget allocation. So this year 782 crores has been given for cyber security, and especially for the protection of digital public infrastructure. You should be very clear about the digital public infrastructure. We have discussed this. Now let us discuss the other relevant aspect in this news. So The next aspect is about the strengthening confidence in the India's evolving digital ecosystem. So first of all, let us talk about Information Technology IT Act of 2000. It is the framework. It provided legal foundation for the e-governance, cyber security and cyber incident through certain. What is certain? Indian Computer Emergency Response Team. That is certain. It was established under IT Act, but it was established in the year 2004. Okay, it was established in the 2004 and it is under the Ministry of Mighty. Please don't get confused that it is under the Ministry of Home Affairs. It is under the Ministry of Mighty and it acts as a nodal agency for cyber security in India. That's why this institution is very important. Then there has been the Information Technology Intermediary Guidelines and Digital Media Ethics Code Rules of 2021. It lays down due diligence requirement for the intermediaries and the grievance redressal. We have understood about the intermediaries and it also provide for the grievance redressal. Now let us discuss about the Digital Personal Data Protection Act of 2023. Recently, if you are following news, the DPDP rules have also came into effect. Okay, they will help in implementation of this act. What was for this act? It governed processing of personal data collected through digital means, including the data digitalized form also from the offline sources. What it means, suppose I am providing data in the digital platform, that also is covered under this. But suppose I am providing my data in the offline manner and that data is included in the digital format, then also it will cover. Here they talk about the digital principle, that means the subjects and data fiduciaries, that are the companies which are handling the data. Now let us discuss about the rules which help in the implementation of this act. First of all, it enable access, correction and the erasure of personal data. That means we can access our data, we can provide for correction of in our personal data, and we can also say that this data of us should be erased. That is the meaning of enable. Then it ensure, suppose I am saying to the data fiduciaries that this data of mine is incorrect, in that case the data fiduciary should take the response in the 90 days. Then it also mandate. So what it mandate about, suppose the data fiduciaries is somehow breach our data. That means our data was leaked from there. So they have to notify us that this data has been breached by us. Then it provide for special safeguard for the children and the personnel with the disabilities. Okay, so in such cases it provide for the guardian. Okay, so instead of them, guardian can take the decision for their data. That is under the DPDP rule of 2025, which have implemented the Act of 2023. Okay. Now let us move further and discuss the PYQ related to this news. While discussing these PYQ, please be very sure that there are repetition of concept in the prelims examination as well as the mains examination. So first question is from the year 2021 and the question is, right to privacy is protected under which article of the Constitution of India? It is Article 21, And now let us look at the PYQ of the 2018. Only the wording is different. The question is, right to privacy is protected as an intrinsic part of right to life and personal liberty. Which of the following of in the Constitution of India correctly and appropriately imply the above statement? It is the same question. Only the wording is different. Then also the answer will be Article 21 and the freedom guarantee under the Part 3. You can see in year 2021 there was a question about right to privacy and about the article. In the year 2018 prelims examination there was a question about right to privacy and Article 21. It is the repetition of the same concept, only the wording is different. Now let us look at one of the main question of the year 2024. The question is simple and very direct forward. The question is, describe the context and the silent feature of DPDP Act of 2023. That's why data and its protection is very important for us as an individual and for us for the UPSC examination as well. With this, we have completed this news. Now let us move to the next news for today. The next news for today is about the guidelines given by the UGC, University Grant Commission. And those guidelines are called as Promotion of Equity in the Higher Educational Institution Regulation 2026. So there has been a lot of issues regarding these guidelines. We will be discussing that the government, what government has said. It is related to paper 2 where syllabus talks about important aspect of governance. Now let us discuss the development. Okay, so here there has been controversy regarding these guidelines and there has been public protest which is going on against this protest. So in response of that protest, government has said, the central government has assured that the new UGC guidelines will not be misused. Okay, so there has been issue, there has been protest that these guidelines can be misused. Before going into those details, first discuss about the discrimination in the educational institute. What 4 educational institutes are there? They are there to provide education. They are there to teach us about equity, equality. But there has been issue of discrimination. There has been reports to the central government. There has been report to UGC. UGC is a statutory body which was established in the year 1956. Whenever such type of body is there in the news, you have to be very thorough about its composition, its type, and what are its functions. Now let us discuss the background of this. Background and the objective of the guideline. What it aims for? It aims for elimination of discrimination in the higher education. And on what ground? On the ground of caste, religion, gender, race, place of birth or disability, especially against SC, ST, OBC, EWS and personnel with the disability. So it has been observed that there has been discrimination. It was found out in a study. It was not related to this news, but there has been found out in a study in IIT Delhi that there has been reported discrimination against the 75% of SC and ST population. That was a independent report. So that is not related to this, but there has been discrimination in the higher education. Then these regulations are in the line with the National Educational Policy, National Education Policy of 2020, and it applies to all the universities, okay, colleges and deemed universities in India. So it is for higher education. It applies for all the universities, colleges and deemed universities. Then it defined what is the meaning of caste-based discrimination. Okay, so it has been defined as that. It has been defined as the discrimination only on the basis of caste or tribe against the members of the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, and other backward classes. Here, the discrimination can be implicit or explicit. It covers both type of discrimination, implicit as well as the explicit discrimination. Now let us look at the guidelines which are there in this regulation. So what are the major provision of these regulation? First of all, it talk about the duty of the higher education. Here it is higher educational institutions. Before also UGC have guidelines, but they were advisory in nature. But now these will be implemented. So here every higher education must prevent and eradicate discrimination actively and promote equity among all stakeholders. And who will be the responsible? The head of the institution, which will include the vice chancellor as well as the principal of that college or deemed university. Then it talk about the equal opportunity center, and what this center will do, it will support the disadvantaged group, provide guidance and counsel, and run inclusion program. This is about the equal opportunity center. Then it talk about equity squad and equity ambassador. So equity squad for the campus vigilance, and the appoint equity ambassador in every unit to promote the inclusion and report the violence. Then it will also have the equity committee, and it will have members from SC, ST, OBC, women, PWD, and it will inquire into the complaint and submits its report in the 15 working days. Then it also talks about grievance redressal and appeal. There will be appointment of ombudsman person, and they will look at into the various grievances of the discrimination issues. Then there is monitoring mechanism. There will be a national monitoring mechanism and annual report on the functioning of equal opportunity centers. And there are the penalties for non-compliance. And what type of penalties? The penalties can be that the higher educational institute can be barred from the UGC scheme. They can be stopped from running the degree and the online platforms, or online program, or be removed from the list of the recognized institutions. Okay, so that can be the penalties. So with this, we have completed this news. Now let us discuss the PYQ related to this news. First, the PYQ is from 2012. It is a very interesting PYQ. It is not directly related to this news, but now let us discuss this PYQ. Which of the following provision of the Constitution does India have a bearing on education? Here it is A1, Directory Principle of State Policy; 2, Rural and Urban Local Bodies; 3, 5th Schedule; 4, 6th Schedule; 5, 7th Schedule. Simple question, but very interesting question. Select the correct answers using the code given below. Okay, so you might be knowing that DPSP talks about education. Rural and urban local bodies have a role in education, so that also have bearing on the education. 5th Schedule and 6th Schedule also talks about the education of the tribals. Then 7th Schedule divides subjects between center, state, and the concurrent list. It has also have education. So all the 5 has the bearing on the education. Then answer will be D, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now let us discuss one more mains PYQ related to this news. The question is, caste system is assuming new identity and association forms. Hence, caste system cannot be eradicated in India. Comment. So you have to look how this statement is correct and how there are changes in the caste system and how we are successful in removing the caste system and how we can eradicate it. Whenever there is a mains PYQ, please try to form an answers, because there has been a tendency in mains paper where there is repetition of concept that is more seen in the mains paper, and in the optional paper that is very evident that there is repetition of concept in the UPSC examination. With this, we have completed this news. Now let us move to the next news for today. The next news is about the usage of social media by the children. Okay, we have seen countries like Australia has banned the social media for the children, and Australia were the first country to ban the usage of social media by the children. Now, France National Assembly has backed legislation. France National Assembly has backed legislation to ban children under the 15 years of old age from usage of social media. It is related to GS paper 1 where syllabus talks about Indian society. It is also related to GS paper 4 of ethics. Let us discuss this news in detail. First of all, the background. Okay, so this bill was proposed banning the under 15 year from social network and society network functionalities embedded with the broader platforms. This bill proposing banning of under 15 years of children, and earlier European Union Parliament has called for the European Union to set a minimum age for the children to access social media, but they have leave this to the member state to impose the age limit. When we were talking about DPDP Act, it also talk about the usage of social media by the children. But we have streamlined that regulation, and we have talked about the guardian for the children below the age of 18. Okay. We have also law for the children. We have 67B under IT Act of 2000, where any type of sexual material related to children is punishable, either viewing, transferring, or anything which is related to the children's, and that is banned and punishable under the 67B of IT Act of 2000. Okay. Now let us discuss further in this news. So what are the impact of social media on children? Before discussing about impact, let us discuss about the reason why children uses the social media. First of all, it is due to parents. Now parents are finding very easy to give social media to the children, and so that they can be busy while using the phone. Now you might be hearing about a term, iPad baby. Okay, iPads are given to the very small babies. Then there is a peer pressure. Everyone is using, then why should not I be using that social media? Then there is issue of instant gratification, because the social media provide gratification to the children. There are algorithms which provide better engagement to the children, and it have impact on children. What are the impact? First, it is impacting the mental health. Okay, so adolescent faces anxiety, depression, body image insecurity, and low self-esteem, because they will be comparing themselves to the other individual, and there are various platforms where the images or the other type of information on the social media is fake. Now people are using AI to generate a virtual world which is not true, and adolescent people and children are comparing themselves to the other people, which is creating these issues. Then there is online radicalization. You might have seen a series, Adolescent, which was very famous, and I think it is there on Netflix. It is talking about that issue, online radicalization. There is algorithm driven platform which create closed belief system that normalize the extreme views. Okay, so there will be a feedback system in the algorithm which will be feeding the children's the same type of content which will be impacting their views. And example is manosphere type of communities. These are the communities which hate the females. This is a new term, manosphere. Okay. Then there is issue of social media addiction. Then there is issue of cyberbullying. You might have seen about the boys' locker room case of Delhi, where the boys of the school were talking very in a very bad way about the girls of the same school. That is cyberbullying. Okay, so these are some impact of social media on children's. Okay, now let us discuss further what can be the way forward. As banning can result into the many harmful impact. People or children can use the dark web or other type of media which are not regulated and which are not safe. So now let us discuss what can be the way forward. First of all, there can be increase in the digital literacy that can be promoted responsible, safe and ethical internet uses, enabling adolescents to make informed decisions. Okay, so there can be increase in the digital literacy. Then there can be increase in the parental oversight, which will be increasing open dialogue between parents and children about the usage of social media. Then there can be the school system reforms, and they can be the curriculum about relationships, sex and health and education, so that the children are more aware about the issues such as relationship, sex and health and education. Then there can be the accountability framework which will ensure child friendly design, safer algorithm and the platform accountability. They have to be accountable that what they are providing and feeding to the children's. Okay, you might have seen the case of usage of TikTok. It was having different algorithm for China and for the outside world. So here accountability has to be imposed on the platforms. Okay, with this we have completed this news. Now let us discuss one PYQ of the year 2023. Okay, the question is from the GS paper 1. The question is that the child cuddling is now being replaced by mobile phones. Discuss its impacts on the socialization of the children. So here the question is asking about the impact of social media on the socialization of the children's. Okay, we have discussed this in the news. With this, we have completed this news. Now let us discuss the next news for today. The next news for today is about the renewable energy. And the context is that at WEF, World Economic Forum, India highlights its emergence as a global leader in the renewable energy transition. Okay, it is related to paper 3 where syllabus talks about conservation, environmental pollution and degradation. Let us discuss this news. First of all, the development. As we have discussed in the context, so India has achieved the milestone of 50% of its cumulative installed electricity capacity from non-fossil fuel sources 5 years ahead of the 2030 target. Here it is talking about the installed electricity capacity, which is more than 50%. But usage, we are using coal-based electricity in more manner or the more number. Why? What is the issue? Whereas the installed capacity for electricity is higher for the renewable energy, but we are using more electricity from the coal-based, because the energy produced from the renewable sources have issues such as intermediary. That means it does not produce electricity 24/7. Before moving further, briefly we will understand briefly about renewable energy. So it is the energy which is taken out from the renewable sources. Here the sources can be solar energy, wind energy and other type of energy. But please be very clear that nuclear energy, although we briefly mentioned under this renewable sector section, but it is not strictly under the renewable energy. It is a clean energy but not renewable energy. Please be very clear, when we are talking about nuclear energy, it is clean energy but not renewable energy. Let us discuss further this news. And discuss about India's renewable energy transition. First of all, about the manufacturing capacity. So India's renewable energy manufacturing capacity has expanded to 144 gigawatt, which is a very high number. Then talking about the alternative fuels, ethanol blending program has resulted reduction of this 813 lakh of metric ton of CO2 emission. What is ethanol blending program? We are blending ethanol with the petrol. Okay, you might be hearing about E20 and issue regarding the E20 fuel. Then we have increased the competitiveness. The solar tariff has declined nearly by 80%, and green hydrogen and green ammonia prices have discovered in India are the among the most competitive in the globe. What is green hydrogen and green ammonia? So green hydrogen is the hydrogen produced by using the renewable energy. And what is green ammonia? That hydrogen that it is produced from using the renewable energy, when it is synthesized by with the nitrogen NH3, that is green hydrogen. Please be very clear what is the meaning of green hydrogen and what is the meaning of green ammonia. And you might be knowing about green hydrogen, but what is green ammonia? When that hydrogen which have been produced using the renewable sources synthesized by with the nitrogen, that lead to the green ammonia, and there has been reduction in the production of carbon dioxide while producing green ammonia. And the price of green ammonia in India is very low when compared to the other countries. So this was about the India's energy, renewable energy transition. Now let us move further and discuss about the India's key renewable energy transition initiative. First of all, decentralized renewable energy. You might have heard about PM Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana, PM Kusum. So PM Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana is about the decentralized rooftop installation of solar panel, whereas PM Kusum is for installation of solar panel for irrigation in agriculture. Then there is policies for alternative fuels. We have national policy on biofuels of 2018, which target of 20% ethanol blending in petrol, and we have achieved this. Okay, there are the conservation about the E20. Then about the solar energy, there is International Solar Alliance. Okay, we have started this with the France. We have one sun, one world and one grid, that is under the International Solar Alliance. Then we have solar park scheme. It is for the large installation of the solar park, that is solar park scheme. Then we have nuclear push. We plan to triple capacity to the 22.5 gigawatt by 2032 under the nuclear energy mission. We have discussed about the nuclear energy while we were discussing the context. Then there are various global partnerships. There is partnership for the biofuels, that is Global Biofuel Alliance, which was started by India in the presidencyship of G20. Then there is the G20 Energy Transition Working Group, and then there is Lead IT, leadership for industry transition. Here the focus is on the industries which are hard to abate. What are the industries which are hard to abate? Cement, steel, such type of industries are very hard to abate. And in the lead IT program, the focus is on such type of industries to reduce their greenhouse gas emission. Okay, now let us move further and discuss about the PYQ which are related to this news. So first PYQ is from the year 2025. And the question is, consider the following statement about PM Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana. First, it target installation of 1 crore solar rooftop panel in the residential sector. Then the second statement is, the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy aims to impart training on installation, operation, maintenance and repair of solar rooftop system at grassroots level. Then it aims to create more than 3 lakh skilled manpower through fresh skilling and upskilling under the scheme component of capacity building. This was a direct question which was related to PM Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana. Okay, it was very much in the news last year. That's why there is a detailed question about it. Please read it thoroughly. So all the statements which are given are correct. Then there is PYQ from the mains and it is from 2018. The PYQ is, access to the affordable, reliable, sustainable and modern energy is secure known to achieve the sustainable development goals. Comment on the progress made in India in this regard. Okay, so here it is talking about the clean energy and how it will impact the achievement of sustainable development goals. With this, we have completed the main news for today. Now let us discuss the place in news for today. The place in news for today is Sea of Japan. Okay, we will be discussing about its location and what is the context. The context is that the North Korea has fired the ballistic missile towards the Sea of Japan. There has been issue regarding the name of Sea of Japan as well. Japan called it Sea of Japan, whereas some countries called it as East Sea. Okay, and it is there in the Western Pacific Ocean. Please look at the map. It is here. Okay, and it connects with the East China Sea. Where is East China Sea? With the Korea Strait. Okay, and with the Okhotsk Sea, with the Le Passer Strait. You might have also heard about the Okhotsk Current. They are cold current. Then in the east it is connected with the inland sea of Japan via the Kanmon Strait and the Pacific Ocean by the Tsugaru Strait. And it is the boundary in the east, it has Japan, and on the west it has Russia. Here it is Kamchatka Plateau, which has been in the news due to severe cold there, and it is also connected to North Korea and the South Korea. Okay, if you are looking at the map, you will also notice Kuril Island. There has been dispute regarding the Kuril Island, and which two countries have the dispute regarding the Kuril Island? It is Russia and Japan. Okay, with this we have completed the place in news for today. Now let us discuss the quick update for today. So the first quick update is about the sonic boom. And what is the context? The context is that a new method developed by researcher that uses earthquake detecting seismometer to track the falling space debris using the sonic boom. So this context is not that much relevant, but what is the meaning of sonic boom? You might have seen documentaries or movies. Whenever the aircraft passes a certain speed, there is a large sound. That is sonic boom. Okay, it is defined as the noise created by aircraft or some other object when it surpasses the speed of the sound. Okay, that is the sonic boom. You might have seen it on many places, in the documentaries, in the movies, as well as if you are watching some aircraft flying. Okay, whenever it crosses the speed of the sound, it will create a sonic boom. And this rapid movement creates a shock wave that manifests a loud and the booming noise. And it cause, what are its causes? It is mostly associated with the aircraft, but it is also associated with the volcanic eruption, meteor showers, and the earthquake. So, with this, we have completed the first quick update for today. Now, let us discuss the second quick update. The second quick update is about the standard model of cosmology, or the lambda cold dark matter. Okay, so there was a research and they have found out that the standard model of cosmology hold up the massive 6-year study of the universe. So they have found out that the two standard theory for the universe, one is this and the another one is Big Bang theory. Both hold true for the universe. Information is not required, but you might be aware that what is this standard model of cosmology for and how it is different from this theory of Big Bang. With this, we have completed the second quick update. Now let us move to the third quick update. The third quick update is about Nipah virus. And the context here is that as per the National Center for the Disease Control, only 2 confirmed cases of the Nipah virus disease has been reported from the West Bengal from December till date. Okay, there has been increase in the zoonotic diseases, and new 60 to 70% diseases are the zoonotic base. That's why we are talking about the One Health system. Here we will be learning about Nipah virus. It is a zoonotic virus which is spread from the animals to human, and it has natural reservoir, that is fruit bats. And its transmission takes place from animal to humans as well as from humans to humans. And it was first identified in 1999 outbreak in Malaysia and Singapore. And what are its symptoms? Its symptoms are fever, headache, cough, sore throat, and difficulty in breathing. Okay, so this was about Nipah virus. Now let us move to the next quick update. The next quick update is about Gig Workers Welfare Board. Okay, you might be noticing that the government is focusing a lot on the gig workers. Recently, there was a social security code as well, which talks about gig workers. And there are various states such as Karnataka, Rajasthan, Bihar, which have both act regarding the gig workers. Here, the context is that the Karnataka constitute the Gig Worker Welfare Board. In this news, we will be learning about the Gig Worker Welfare Board. It was constituted under the Karnataka Platform-based Gig Worker Social Security and Welfare Development Act of 2025. So here you might be knowing about what are gig workers. So basically, gig workers are the workers who are outside the traditional model of job. And they work on the basis of the platforms, and those are known as platform based gig workers. And the labor minister will be the ex-office chairperson of the board, that is the Gig Workers Welfare Board. And it will include the representative from the gig workers union as well as the aggregator platform. The aggregator platforms are such institution or the companies such as Zomato, Blinkit, and the other platforms. And it will mandate the registration of aggregators and the gig workers with the assurance of the unique ID. So every gig workers will have the unique ID. Then it will facilitate the state government move to the implement welfare measure for the gig workers. Okay, so it will implement the various measures to improve the condition for the gig workers. That will be the function of the Gig Worker Welfare Board. Okay. Now let us move to the next quick update. The next quick update is about Euratom. And the context here is that the India and the European Union have agreed to strengthen cooperation in the peaceful usage of nuclear energy under the India-Euratom Agreement. Okay. In this news, we will be learning about the Euratom, which stand for European Atomic Energy Community, and it was established by Treaty of Rome in the year 1957. And what its objective is to promote peaceful use of nuclear energy and research associated with the nuclear energy, and it prevent diversion of civil nuclear material for the military use. So here you might be knowing about the enriched uranium and what kind of uranium that can be used for missiles or the nuclear attack. There was a question regarding the enriched uranium in the prelims examination. Please read about the uranium, what kind of uranium is used in the power generation, and what kind of enriched uranium is used for the missile attack or the nuclear attack. Okay, please read about it, then you will be having a clear idea. Then India and EU signed R&D agreement for the peaceful usage of nuclear energy with the Euratom in the year July 2020. And India has been an associated member of CERN since 2017. So CERN is an institution which do research regarding the nuclear energy. One interesting fact regarding the CERN is that there is statue of Nataraj in front of the CERN. With this, we have completed this news. Now let us discuss the next news for today. Next news is about Paris Agreement. And what is the context? The context is that the USA has officially left the Paris Agreement for the second time. Okay, first time was when it was left by the US when Trump was there president. Then they have re-entered. Now they have officially left the Paris Agreement, Paris Climate Agreement for the second time. What is Paris Agreement? So it was adopted at the UNFCCC COP21 in the Paris. And what was the year? It was the year in the 2015. And this year there was a question regarding this agreement because there is completion of 10 years. Whenever there is a specific timeline which has been completed, there has been chances that there can be a question in the UPSC examination. Then it recognizes climate change as a global emergency, and it is legally binding, and it has 195 members. There are 194 countries and European Union. And India is member of Paris Climate Agreement. And what are its aim? It aims for holding global temperature rise well below 2 degrees Celsius when compared to the pre-industrial level. And it pursue effort to limit the warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius, acknowledge the reduces climate risk. That is about the Paris Climate Agreement. It was established, it was started in the year 2015 at the UNFCCC COP21. Now let us move to the next quick update. The next quick update is about Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority. It was established, or it was given a statutory status in the year 2013, and there was a mains question in the year 2013 about this body. And if there has been question in the mains, there are chances that the same question or similar type of question can be asked in the prelims examination in the option format. And the context here is that it has constituted a strategic asset allocation and risk governance committee to review, modernize and strengthen the investment framework of the new pension system. So in this news, we will be learning about this body. So its genesis, it was established in the year 2003 and granted statutory status under the Act in the year 2013. That means it is a statutory body now. And its objective is to promote old age income security by establishing, developing and regulation pension funds such as NPS and Atal Pension Yojana, and it works under the Ministry of Finance. Okay, let us discuss the next quick update. The next quick update is about deuterons. It is a isotope of hydrogen, and the context is that ALICE's collaboration at the Sun Large Hadron Collider has explained how fragile deuterons survive high energy particle collision. So basically, what is hydrogen? It has one proton and one electron, and if one neutron is added along with the proton by nuclear force, that will give rise to deuteron. That is a simple explanation for deuterons. And here it is a stable isotope of hydrogen with a nuclear containing one proton and one neutron. That was I have explained here. And it has held together by a strong nuclear force, and it is symbolized by D or 2H. And what are its properties? It has a net positive charge of +1, and it has mass twice of that hydrogen, and its applications include as a fuel in nuclear fusion reaction, and it help in producing neutron which can be used in cancer therapy and neutron radiotherapy. So with this, we have completed the news today discussion for today. To read further our current affairs or to solve smart quizzes, you can visit Digital Current Affairs website of us, and please solve the questions which are visible on your screen. Thank you, and all the best for your preparation.